All right. I'm Robert Scott, COO of Snapdragon Hemp, and I'm here with our buddy.
I'm Dirk Kain. I'm the director of laboratory operations at Alkane Analytics.
Alkane Analytics is a local company that we've been partnered with for almost the conception of Snapdragon Hemp. I mean, has it been 4 years now at this
I
point?
think it's going on 4 years. I
Yeah.
think I met you and Josh back in, early, mid 2020. So over 4 years now.
Pretty close. And Dirk here, he's the mastermind behind all of our gummies and stuff. So he has a lot of pride in what we do, a lot of background in chemistry and learning exactly how these molecules work and what makes them the best. And I figured that we could talk about something about your process, so we could talk about exactly what you think of the cannabis industry here in Tennessee from its conception to the Wild West to where we're at now, and your ride along the way.
For sure. Yeah, there's been so many changes since we all, oh my gosh, let me turn all this off right now.
The last time I was on this podcast, I accidentally left my ringtone.
Turn off all devices. There we go. Let me go ahead and, but yeah, so, I mean, there's been so many changes since we started, since the Farm Bill came out, and gosh, that was late with December of 2018. We got our business license in 2019, and, we had to really change our whole strategy. I mean, obviously gummies were going to be a part of it, but that was on down the line. We started out as a hydrocarbon extraction facility, and, I think, August of 2019, you could get a liter of crude oil. It was going for $6,000 a liter back then. And
it was a lot, yeah.
Fast forward to April of 2020, just 5-6 months, it had plummeted down to $700 a liter. So we really had to, change our business strategy. And, something, working with confections is something I've done for a long time. Obviously studied chemistry at UTC, and we've been playing around with different confections. When I say confections, I'm talking about candy. That's your hard candy, your gummies. Some people aren't, completely familiar with what confections are.
Sure.
So we were playing around with that years and years ago. I mean, I'm kind of showing my age here, but we've been playing around for 4 decades now.
Whew.
So
it's a lot of time to perfect the process.
But yeah, we were making a gelatin-based gummy for a long time, and then we switched over. We had a client that was really trying to, they wanted a vegan solution. They had a large vegan following, and they were wanting something that didn't contain any animal products, and that was kind of the birth of our vegan-based gummy. And it was really designed for the senior community. They wanted something that wasn't like chewing on a piece of leather, or I wouldn't say piece of leather, but when you're biting into a gummy worm, obviously it's full flavor. But some of those confections, that are gelatin based are a little tougher, and
Sure.
you got to gnaw on a little bit. So we actually designed that for our client. We don't work with them anymore, but originally it was designed for the senior community, so it would break apart easily and disperse evenly. So that's how we came up with our current product.
Yeah, and it's interesting just how many sales that we've made just from that being a vegan product and it being so much better than your average gummy on the market just right out of the gate.
Yeah, I knew what vegan was, and I knew what pectin-based gummies were. I never referred them as vegan-based until, our client came to us and made this request. But there is a whole following. Vegan, vegetarian community is it's a growing community. I mean, here in Chattanooga, I think we have quite a few, restaurants and stores downtown. I know of at least of a couple that are all vegan based. So it was really nice to really tap into that community and really start to get to know those people. And then we started learning why these people were vegans. Was obviously a wide variety of reasons for that. But, vegan aside, it was just that texture of that gummy. We just preferred it over our gelatin-based gummy. Sure. And then after a while, no one was buying our gelatin-based gummies. So we had,
had
switch.
Yeah,
we had to pivot and go to our vegan-based solution. So, we've been really, 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 really happy and really lucky. A lot of things changed over a short period of time.
It's been really lucky here in Tennessee for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just, the way that
we've been a part of that change though too. It hasn't just been dumb luck, but yeah, I mean, it's been nice.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah, and it's funny if we have some time, I'd like to jump into some customer reviews on our website a little later. But it was just funny because I kind of skimmed through a couple of them just because of the topics that we were talking about today, and it was 3 out of 4 of them that I just skimmed over were about gummies. And he just picked them at random. He's like, "Here's this one." He's just grabbing the first ones that he sees when he goes to the different pages. So I just thought that was funny for sure.
Well, it's not, it's nice working with you guys. You have the customer base, and you walking in your stores, your clerks and salespeople are very very consultative in their approach. And we're B2B. We're a manufacturing facility. We don't have a lot of interact with the public as far as from a business perspective. Sure. And we rely on you guys and our other clients to really give us the feedback and what these clients are looking for, whether it be the flavor and texture of the gummy to what kind of cannabinoid profile is in the gummy, even stuff that we sell on our website, which is really, it's such a small piece of what we do. We have a little retail store. We have online, as you know, we have no brick and mortar retail. It's not what we do, but we really kind of created that online retail store to create more visibility for other for other wholesale, box suppliers and whatnot. And, we've actually used some profiles that we made for you and just kind of changed them up a little bit, but things we would never have thought of.
Sure.
Working with you and Josh and coming up with these different, whether it be CBD, CBG, Delta 8, Delta 9, all these different combos. And it's really helped us, grow our wholesale business as well.
Yeah. And honestly, that's been the coolest part and probably why the gummies do as well as they do. Because we definitely, like, as a company, we try to keep the mindset, and Josh likes to say all the time about just something for everybody. We really like to do everything that we can. If you look at our top 10 sales products, I mean, it's just about everything. We have drinks, we have topicals that are top sellers. We still have tinctures in our top sales, as well as the gummies. But with the gummies, particularly really latching onto that idea of doing anything for anybody. We have a lot of lines of gummies. We have the psychoactive type of gummies for daytime and nighttime, the non-psychoactive type of gummies for daytime and nighttime, the blends of the Delta 9 and the CBD, the people that still want the Delta 8, we still have them. And, honestly, it's pretty close. I'll talk a little bit more about some Snapdragon stuff we're doing this fall, but the Knockers Gummies, we did the Knockers Gummies with you guys last year for breast cancer awareness, and we like to donate to the cause for some of those sales as well. It's really cool to be able to do that.
I think
they came out good. They look amazing.
They really did. I really like that profile. I really like that profile with the CBG. I think you guys donate some of the proceeds to the Mary Ellen Looker Foundation here.
Yep.
Mary Ellen Looker was on the news when I first came to Chattanooga back. I'm not going to say what year it was. It was many moons ago, late 90s, mid-late 90s when I started at UTC. But I think it's a great cause, and I think that's a great profile, that Delta 9 CBG mix. And I'm glad they've been successful for you guys. But I think going back to kind of what you were talking about, all the different, your top 10 products, and, I think not just in confections is very subjective, right? When you walk into a candy store, I mean, there are how many different choices do you, I mean, it goes on forever. I think the same thing can be said for, the cannabis industry. When you walk into a dispensary like Snapdragons, you have pretty much everything that someone could want. Some people like edibles, some people like, DAPs, some people like vapes. So you have all these different combos and all these different, choices for people. And I think it's fantastic.
Sure. And we're honestly just trying to build upon that as well. It's a little bit in the beginning phases, but we actually just did our first website complete overhaul here in 2024. And so the website now looks completely different. We had to start from scratch. It's been a bit of a process, trying to make sure everything works and stuff. But we've put a whole new layer onto our website where we have like chill, euphoric, restful, and we have different moods that you can search to like better help find products, because it became a little bit overwhelming with the amount of stuff that's online.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And you got to use those words, as adjectives, because people are looking for different things. And I think went back to what you were saying earlier. some people like that euphoric, effect that some of the cannabinoids give you, and others don't. Some 100%. Our tea-free, some of the tea-free stuff we make for you, especially the Lunas, are very popular. So it's it's all shapes and sizes. Yeah,
no, and there's we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast and otherwise, but I'm surprised daily at the difference in the draw of people that come shop with us. It's even online on our heat maps and stuff. It's like anything from 21 to 89. Like there's no good average to be found. Actually, you would think that it would just be the younger people in general, but it is not. People are flocking for the health reasons as well. I love that.
For sure, and the medicinal effects, and the medicinal impact it makes on people's lives, and obviously we have to be very careful kind of what we present. We have a lot of restrictions on what we can put in writing regarding the FDA and things of that nature. But we've been able to help a lot of people use this as alternative medicine. Some people can't take certain medications or have adverse side effects, or it's a variety of different reasons. So we've seen on just obviously, like I said earlier, our online retail store is just a very small piece of what we do, but you'd be surprised how many people over 60 purchase our products.
I believe that.
And are very satisfied and just enjoy the products. And a lot of them don't have any experience with using cannabinoids. It's kind of that generation. When you start getting into the mid, early baby boomers, they have a different experience when they were coming up on what cannabis was.
That's true.
And it really didn't have there wasn't too many positive accolades regarding cannabis back then. But it's nice to see how everything has kind of evolved, and seeing this older generation embrace it and really understand the benefits that it brings to the table. So,
I mean, it gives you faith in the future of the industry for sure, at least a little bit.
It really does. It really does. I think sometimes people make assumptions and make generalizations that, it's an older generation that's kind of blocking these things. And, there might be some truth to that, but in our experience, we have a lot of satisfied consumers that are, 65 and older.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, no, I think so too. What's your opinion about, all these, we've brought some of the changes up in the podcast a couple times with the new regulations, and is that going to affect you guys in any type of way?
Well, you have to, working within the constraints of the Farm Bill, and then when you start making amendments and changing things, and obviously when you push out a law, you can expect, changes and amendments to come down the pipe. But I think really what, in my opinion, living in Tennessee and Chattanooga, Tennessee, I really think there's some, some, as far as the tax increases go on the products, there's hemp derived cannabinoids now. I think, what is it, 15.25%? I think they've added additional 6% on there. So I think that's from a tax revenue standpoint, I think that cannot go overlooked, especially in a state like Tennessee, especially like a county like Hamilton County, where Chattanooga.
You would think
sits.
so for sure.
I think as far as our public school system goes, I think that could, we have aging infrastructure. We have, I'm not sure if our teachers get paid the salaries they deserve. And I think a lot of this money, just like Colorado, what do they make? $600 million their first year? And they're pumping a big percentage of that into public education. And that state has completely reinvented itself.
It really has.
From a public education standpoint. So I think that's, I really think that's what Congress should be looking at. Obviously, when you're dealing with a product like this, I do like some of the changes. Back to your question, I didn't mean to get I didn't want to go down rabbit too far. But I think some of this legislation is definitely warranted. When you're talking about when you're talking about restrictions as far as how many milligrams per gummy. Childproof packaging, that's stuff that needed to be done. It just had to be done.
I agree with you.
So, it's just, we have to evolve. And I think they gave us I think that the childproof packaging went into effect, was that July 1st?
I believe
July 1st of 2024. And I think there's some other items coming down the pipe, October 1st, and then one that's January 1st. But no, I think, putting things behind the counter and making them, childproof packaging, minimum milligrams per serving. I think these are great additions. In my opinion, you have to be careful not to regulate it too much. I think there needs to be some standards.
Sure.
And I think that's I don't think that's just a Tennessee issue. I think that's a nationwide issue. Really trying to make some standards in the industry. And I think that's where some of the challenges are, because it comes down to interpretation in a lot of these states. And, it's just, being a small business owner, we're on our phone. We're on the phone with our attorneys at least every other week, talking about packaging and labeling and, hey, do we have everything on here that we need?
Oh, yeah.
What are the changes? How is this impacting us? So, we pay them good money, but it's for a good reason.
100%.
So we have to work within the constraints of the Farm Bill and obviously the laws that the Tennessee House has passed and the Senate has passed. So, I think some of it, especially when it comes to children, are great laws, and they needed to be into effect for sure.
No, I agree. It's interesting. We just got an email the other day. I don't know if you got the new one about the 21 and up thing, but I'm really surprised the 21 and up for establishments. It's actually like option A or option B, which really surprised me. It's either A, you have a 21 plus and up establishment and no one that is under 21 can even walk through your door, or you put it behind the counter. And I thought that was really interesting because you would think that it would be both. I thought that they were going to push for both.
You would think so.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to, when they passed some of these, especially when, alcohol sales, I think some of these, they were kind of like bars that sold a little bit of food. And I think they kind of made the law, like if you had so many sales if your liquor sales and beer sales were over a certain amount, you had to be 21 and older. I think that still applies. But if you're a full functioning restaurant, obviously you can obviously people can't buy alcohol unless they're 21 and older, but still younger people are allowed in establishments, and checking IDs and whatnot. So yeah, I think they've handled it correctly. I think, I wasn't aware of the A and the B.
Yeah, that was a brand new thing.
I've never heard of that.
I just got that email from the TDA this week.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got some comments from our beverage distributor, Tim. He had some things to say about it, but he's already been getting just a little bit of pushback from some of the alcohol places, package stores, liquor stores, whatever it may be, because, as we've talked about, one of our big goals for having the drinks, I don't want to, we've bashed in the drinks. We've talked a lot about the drinks. I won't linger on them too much, but we have them and we're trying to make this an alternative to alcohol. And a lot of business owners that don't regularly do cannabis and just sell alcohol, they're going through a little bit of a state of confusion right now with trying to figure out, because they're like, oh, how are we even going to really sell and advertise these products if they have to be behind the counter, as opposed to all the alcohol that's allowed to just be out on the counter? It's really confusing.
They could just go back in the cooler and pull out what they wanted.
Exactly.
I think from in the alcohol industry, I think at first, and it's just natural for people and business owners to think like this, but the cannabis industry, especially if you get into drinks, what we don't want is to feel like that, hey, we're encroaching on what they're selling, right?
Of course.
It's like, hey, this is not an, yes, there are some alternative aspects to it for sure, obviously,
but not to take away,
but
just to give the people that are already seeking that.
Absolutely. I think it's an addition to versus an instead of, right? And I think we've already seen it. We've seen, the beer and package store right down the street from me, they didn't offer any kind of cannabinoid drinks. You go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, it didn't even exist. Now they too are offering them, because it's, people that come in there are looking for, different things, different products. And you always see them positioned at the front of the store. It's kind of like a last minute buy, almost like a compulsive buying item. Oh, by the way, we sell cannabis drinks too,
Yeah.
So I think that you've seen a lot of package stores, beer and liquor stores kind of add this to their portfolio. And I think it just makes sense because they're already a 21 and older, store. Mm-hmm. And when these laws came down the pipe, hey, we already have all the, obviously it needs an additional permit, I think now to sell, cannabis infused drinks. But it's already a 21 and older establishment. So
yeah, that's fair. Speaking of cannabis infused drinks, have you been down to the Dragon lately?
I have not. I really need to get down there.
Well, this made me think about it. I really have to do the shout out on it. We just hired a bunch of people for the kitchen. As soon as we get the opportunity, we're going to expand the kitchen into our the Dragon's Roast. That used to be the dark roast that we just took over as well.
Yeah.
But for right now, Amy in there and her team are making food that is incredible. I mean, I'm truly blown away every single time that I've gone there. It's gotten better and better. They're just constantly improving on their food recipes. and they've got sliders, flatbreads, and all kind of appetizers to go along with the cannabis drinks that are they're really good.
Who doesn't love some sliders? You know?
I haven't had, I will say this, I haven't had like every slider in Chattanooga, but I think they're the best ones in Chattanooga. Yeah. I would take recommendations to try and compare for sure, but
I could probably give you a recommendation. I'll have to go down there. That sounds like a challenge. I'll go down there and try the sliders out for sure.
Okay. Yeah. What are you doing after this?
Yeah, let's go.
We can go get some for sure.
But and how long has that been open now?
Oh man, it's hard to put an exact number on it, but definitely the majority of 2024.
Okay,
it's definitely been going. We got a little bit of a slow start last year. We had to do a little bit of a change of management in the building. Someone there just ended their relationship with us, and once we pivoted to somebody new and we had a little bit more free time to think about it, we really started pushing for how to get the idea of food there. Because we're doing okay, but everybody has food. You want to have the option to have food, and we wanted to have the option to have food that's snackable. We don't have, we're not serving up steak or anything.
Right. These are like 5-course meals.
Some good more food.
For sure.
So, and we've been doing that now. The testing process began, I think, mid-July.
Okay.
And then they've been slowly rolling out the full menu here, and now they're pretty much open all the time with all the options.
Now, obviously, you have all your Canna Bliss options, but you also do some customized infused drinks down there as well.
Yeah, we so what we like to do is the tried and true. We like to put flavors on tap, and we like to have them in a location for a while. And if any of them do just absolutely insane, then we'll think about trying to can them and trying to make that and integrate that into our line of drinks.
Okay.
But we do switch out for some stuff. We have the good old reliable ones that we always usually have. Like we have the dam water that's the most popular in our waters and stuff. But
the Mountain Doobie.
The Doobie. But we just recently did a sweet tea.
Okay.
A lemon sweet tea and a pineapple kombucha. And I'm not entirely sure if those have been super popular or not. They're pretty recent as far as I have to look at the sales, but they're interesting for sure.
That's a great idea. I mean, you can get a lot of good feedback from your customer base, and then you can figure out, hey, I'm gonna can this and sell it, to other stores.
Mm-hmm. For sure,
making sure it's accessible to everybody. So I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to expand it into the dark roast as well. Dragon's Roast. Now we're taking over that building, and we're really excited about the premise of it. I think they've done really well. They've got a really good following. If they go on Instagram and they make a post, it's gonna just be 500 people are liking that post, and they're really followed and stuff. But they were just a little limited on what they were able to do at the time. So we've been able to come in there, reimagine the interior of the building, get a space ready to actually have kitchen equipment there. And here in the future, mostly what's going on there is hardcore shows and like EDM with a couple little things sprinkled throughout. But we're really going to push to get some like bluegrass, jazz, stuff like that in there to extend those hours. Some good not just from like 7 at night till midnight or 7 till whenever 10 or 11 the Live Aid shows, but to have like from noon or 2 open and be serving food in there for people to stop by while they're walking around,
especially on a Saturday or something.
It's gonna be real good. We'll open up the door, maybe have some live music playing out the front door and stuff.
And that's awesome. That's in North Shore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. That is
right down there by the Stone Cup.
Yep.
Okay.
Right next to Stone Cup. Good parking at Coolidge and stuff nearby.
Good deal.
So
good
that's
deal.
Gonna be awesome. We have, if you ever are interested, I don't really know when we're planning on evolving the lineup quite a bit to add more, but for now, what we have is on www.snapdragonhemp.com/events. I think it is. I hate to be a wrong plug if I'm wrong about that, but we do have an events page on our website, and it has all the days and times and who's playing and what artists and stuff. So,
is it mostly weekend shows? Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon?
Mostly, yeah. There's some stuff sprinkled throughout the week here and there, but mostly it is weekend shows, yeah.
You got some pretty good turnouts down there?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Honestly, a little less so probably overall at some of the all ages shows. but that's just because I mean they still have their following.
Right.
There's still a good amount of people that are there. It's just the fact that we really have pivoted towards cannabis and stuff. While those kinds of things are happening, you know, we don't. Initially, we had planned to put a dab bar in there.
Gotcha.
And we kind of pivoted on that because we want to still give some of the opportunities for all age shows. We want to inspire the youth to still be able to come out and see music. There's not a lot.
sure.
There's not a lot of all age venues. When I was growing up, at least there wasn't a lot of those options. I mean, I know we grew up in different time, but I had the Electric Cowboy.
Oh yeah,
like, wow.
Out by Eastgate Mall.
So we want to create something a little better than that and still give that opportunity, maybe.
The good old Electric Cowboy. Gosh, when I was, Track 29 is there was a lot of good live music down there. When I was at UTC, it was Rhythm and Brews, where Ty Smile is now.
They're still pushing Track 29. They changed
they?
the signal and they've moved buildings like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Now. They're still going though. They may have been bought out. That might be why it's not Track 29.
They used to get some good concerts down there. I've seen 311, Big Boy,
Nice.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Hell yeah.
So it's they were really, I mean, this is years ago, but they've drawn.
I've seen some good ones.
They've drawn some
too.
good talent there for sure.
Seen some good ones. We're considering. This is kind of a little bit up in the air, but there's a place downtown near Warehouse Row that is just a really, really nice space. Like the roast itself is so cool, and we can keep it busy, and it's got a good capacity in it, so we're never going to be without. But I don't know if it does well, we might think about pivoting towards an even bigger space for like separate events, so we could host maybe some of the larger venues at there, because it would be cool if there was such a good turnout that there would be an opportunity to provide something like that as well.
I think anytime you provide live music in Chattanooga, I'm not as in tune to the downtown scene as I used to be.
I'm not either.
I'm not sure how strong the live music scene is in Chattanooga. Back when I was in school and even after, you had a decent amount of venues. I'm not sure if that's still the case. You think as downtown has grown, there'd be more options, but there's so many music lovers in Chattanooga. It's just, hey, add one more live music venue. Why not?
Exactly.
I think that
100%.
you're not oversaturating anything.
No,
we definitely need more live music venues. For sure.
I think so too.
For sure.
I think so too.
And then just combining that with the cannabis and everything else, I think it's I think it's a great match.
Yeah. They definitely go hand in hand.
Oh, for sure. For many reasons.
That's for sure.
Now, what do you guys? What's on the table for the rest of 2024 and going into 2025 for you guys?
I don't even really know. I don't know where to begin. There's a lot of projects going on right now. There's a lot of projects. We've got not just one but 2 warehouses out in Saudi Daisy now. Yep. The second one being just a gigantic empty space. So our original thought was here in September, October. When fall started, we wanted to go ahead and move over to this new facility, take our bakery from Highway 58, put it there, take our production, put it there, take our shipping, wholesale, pretty much every kind of operations that there is and get in one building to make everything easier. And it came with a good office space too. So there was a lot of good offices that we could start out with. Now, Josh quickly determined that the amount of stuff that we have stored over at our current production facility, while that place would be an upgrade for them as it was laid out, that they probably would outgrow it within like 6 months to a year. So
really? Even the new space out in Saudi, that you would outgrow that?
Just storage space.
Just storage
for materials and goods, packages, bags. So he determined we might outgrow that, and that the warehouse might outgrow the warehouse space that was dedicated to them as well. So now instead of having a third of the operation space, they're going to have a massive space to expand on.
Gotcha.
We've already got another forklift ordered. We did get a forklift about a month ago. We just got another one. So there's going to be one at the production facility, one at the warehouse, and we're going to be easily able to transport and receive products for the first time. It's going to be real nice.
That's awesome. And you're going to keep your facility out in Red Bank.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts on the facility out in Red Bank. There's a lot of thoughts about what we can expand on with the lab side of things over there, because we're still going to keep our short path distillation over there at Red Bank. We're still going to keep our roto evaporator, and a couple of the
all your heavy
processes.
lab equipment you'll keep there. I mean, it's already designed for it. You know, you have a fire suppression system installed. That's usually the main one.
Yeah, we're already putting so much into this new building. It's just like this, like you said, it's already set up for it. We don't have to spend an astronomical amount of money setting up a new fire suppression.
That makes it nice
in the same way. So yeah, but hey, we honestly still have to do fire suppression of some kind, and wow, that stuff is expensive.
It is. It is. Obviously, we do hydrocarbon extraction, so you know we have to have we have a dry chem fire suppression system for our Class 1 Division 1 explosion proof booth, because all our extractions we use a closed loop hydrocarbon extractor, and everything. All those extractions have to be in a C1D1 booth, and everything in there has to be C1D1 certified.
Yep.
So, and part of that is a good, reliable fire suppression system. So, yeah, that comes with the territory.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. We really haven't had to. This is going to be our biggest facility. I can't remember exactly what the space is like, but I just know, as far as size goes, we're going to take our. We've had to call them Gulf View and Consolidated based on the street, because it's hard to just be like Saudi 1 and Saudi 2. So Gulf View, the second one we got, is so big. We're going to take everything that is downstairs at Red Bank, all the warehouse, all the shipping, all that stuff. We're going to move that over, most likely, eventually. And then we're also going to move everything from our Benton Drive cannery location over there. So we're going to have our 20, 30 pallets of drinks over there.
Okay.
And it's still going to be a situation where you could probably do some wheelies on the forklifts in there. I mean, it's going to be just a small corner of the building, even, that all that is going to be taking up. So that's going to be just we've had to move so much. It's going to be nice to not have to move for a little while.
Well, I was off social media for a while, and then I got back on Facebook, and I saw Josh is he's kind of doing little live look-ins, and I kind of saw some of that. I kind of went back to his page, and I saw like where it was just this empty warehouse.
Yeah.
And then you start building out, you start putting the framework inside, and you're making all the individual rooms and everything. And it looks like you're putting you have a lot of storage space up top now.
Yep. A lot of storage space up top. And he put there's like a wall up top that has a hinge on it. And when you raise pallet up, you push it up against the wall, and it just pushes over, and you get it past it, and it just kind of back up.
Oh,
nice. Just like a little safety railing up there.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
The best thing, though, in my opinion, the walk-in cooler and the walk-in freezer. Oh, we're getting 2 walk-ins.
Nice.
That's going to be the best thing ever.
Nice.
Everybody's so excited about it.
Do you guys have any frozen products?
We do, yeah. I guess we don't really keep them frozen per se as it stands, but it would be really nice if we could keep the popsicles frozen.
Yeah, for sure.
For one. There's really not a lot of stuff that needs to be super frozen at the production facility, but at the bakery, a lot of the times they will take and they'll freeze and they'll pre-make all of their doughs.
Gotcha.
And get it ready. Everything's made from scratch, so they take it and they'll make a batch for 24 hours from now, and they're making a lot of products, so they'll have 3 or 4 layers of a fridge just filled with stuff ready to be made. So that's going to be really helpful for them to just not have to put this in and move this, put this in. It's just a walk-in, so they should have plenty of space to organize. We actually have been outgrowing that 58 location for our bakery for quite some time.
I remember when Josh, gosh, it was probably, what have you been there, 3 years? 2.5, 3 years?
2020. Yeah, maybe it's been 4.
Yeah.
It could have, it's 3 or 4 for sure.
Cause you still have the green fire truck parked out front.
Yeah.
the Snapdragon logo. There's the there's the green fire truck.
Yep.
Parked out front.
It was crazy.
You guys had that down at Lee Highway for a little while, didn't you?
It's crazy. We had that out there. One day, this is so crazy. Someone came to the store and they asked us some questions about the stuff in the fire truck. And we were like, what are you talking about? Those are unused. Like, there's nothing on the side of the fire truck. And she was like, yeah, I mean, that's my locker. My stuff's in there. And we realized that there were a couple of people using the lockers on the outside of the fire truck for their personal belongings.
Did you charge them rent or anything?
No, I mean, we were just like, you gotta take your stuff out of the fire truck.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
Yeah, that thing's been there for a while. It's become iconic on Highway 58. I feel like.
Did Josh buy that, or
he did?
Did he?
It really was not expensive. It was surprisingly cheap. Still runs and drives.
Hey, That's all that counts. You know? Do you guys still drive it around?
No, it's honestly been sitting there for a while. I think we may still have plans of wrapping it at some point and making it custom. But
I was going to ask you that because you got a lot of your other stuff wrapped.
yeah, it's been kind of tough. We want to get we like the wrapping and we like the advertising of driving around in cool vehicles and stuff. We still have plans for the Charger, I think, at some point as well. But now that we have so many vehicles and we're making trips and treks back and forth to Alabama and back for some of our drink needs, there just hasn't been a lot of time in between actually driving the vehicles and maintaining the vehicles to get things wrapped. It hasn't been the highest priority, but we definitely want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool.
What now are you going to keep your facility down at Lee Highway?
You kind
of turned that into a retail store, right?
Yeah, we did, and it's got it's a super work in progress, but there's actually like a bar type environment in the back too.
Okay,
that we started to build out with a couple of companies. But just kind of had to put that one on the back burner.
Is it kind of like a co-op? They can you utilize your space and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Exactly. So that was going to be cool. We definitely have really liked the bar type environment. It's given us the opportunity to have a place for locals to just come and hang out inside the retail stores, but also there's a lot of cross pollination there too, so they can come in. So that was the idea behind the one at Lee Highway too. Just to try to get the sales up, have an environment for the people that are on Lee Highway and Brainerd Road to come and chill, because there's definitely a lot of people there.
Yeah,
there's a good population around that area. There's good people out there too.
There absolutely, and it's been an underserviced area.
I think so too.
Quite a few years now. There used to be right across the street was a Biker's Emporium.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that rings a bell, but
100%.
That was our little go-to back when I was at UTC for various things. But yeah, I think that part of town has changed so much.
It has
since I was at school in the 90s, and it continues to change. But it's good that you guys are servicing that area, and I love the bar. I love the whole lounge bar aspect that you and Josh got going. I think it's
cool. It's just awesome.
It's a place for people to come hang out, and it gives people more exposure to what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
yeah. And it really it's nice to be able to give people the opportunity to do something like that. We actually really don't adhere to the typical serving wages. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, here's $3,
$2.13 an hour.
Have a fun time.
Yeah. We're gonna rely on.
We pay full. We pay full like livable wage,
Good.
and then we still offer tips and stuff.
Okay.
Because we just, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're just.
Can.
Well, I guess when you're. I mean, when you're a server, your tips based on your overall sales typically. You know.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of middle of the road or low in sales, then you're not going to make that much money. So it's good that you're offering them a good wage, while they're there. So
yeah,
and they can pick up tips there as well.
For sure, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
So you have a dab? Do you have a dab bar anywhere? Do you have a dab bar down at the Dragon or not?
Yes,
okay.
We do. It's a little bit different, I think. Still at our Eastridge 2 location over at 3909 and our Red Bank location, we still have a lot of the e-nail set up, as well as torches and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's a little bit less so at the Dragon downtown. We've really tried to focus on electronic stuff to really, it's just a much busier location. We have easily, looking at the numbers, we have easily 700 to 1,000% more sales down there than we do at those. That's an actual establishment that people are starting to regularly come to. So just for safety reasons, we like to, here's something that is really easy to use. You're not going to burn yourself. You're just going to inhale. Here's how much you should do. So we try to
take out a big butane torch and setting the place on fire.
I don't believe we have any torches there.
Good.
Yeah. Not good for a fast-paced environment.
No.
But it's been really cool to see it grow. Delia, she's been on the podcast here recently, but she used to be our bakery director, and now she's our director of hospitality, and she's over the locations that we're starting food in and doing drinks and live music. And she's just really helped turn that place around. It's been amazing to go from having just one or two customers in a day for months to just here's a week that we've done better and better and better every week, and now it's actually becoming like a fully functional, always busy establishment. I fucking love it.
I mean, as you know, management is so important. I mean, I've been, years ago, I was in the restaurant industry for quite a few years, and you can see the restaurants that are managed well and the ones that aren't managed well. And I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. People are like, well, one person can't make a difference. Oh, absolutely, it can make a difference, especially in an industry like that. So I'm glad you guys are being successful. And now, when are you guys gonna be branching out of Chattanooga? Is that on the docket, or?
It is. Yeah, it's on the radar. As of right now, we really only have the one store outside of Chattanooga, or two stores outside of Chattanooga. We have the Fort Oglethorpe, the one we have in Georgia, and then Dan is helping us run the one up in Cookeville.
Okay, that's right.
So that's going to be our furthest one right now. However, that being said, we really just started to expand into applications and trying to find people for the Knoxville and the Nashville area to be brand ambassadors. And we really want to just test the waters up there, get our stuff in places. It's a little bit of a give and take with places like that. Like if you're in Knoxville, Knoxville's a little bit behind where we're at on cannabis. They're not quite as on the level as we are, and it's not quite as well accepted just as it is here.
I wonder what the reason for that is.
It's hard to say. That I don't have the answer for.
You would think a big college, influence.
You would think
like
so
Knoxville, too. You would think they'd be a little more advanced in that space.
You would think so too. But it's not that there's not opportunity there. There is. It would just kind of be like a slow build because they had a little bit of time for people to get used to what we've been trying to teach people for this long. Nashville, on the other hand, they're ahead. I mean, there's something on every corner. The bars are starting to put them in. Everybody has it. But that's the kind of level where there's so much competition up there. We would have to start with a couple of stores. I mean, it would be a big endeavor to really get a foothold up there. And we're not exactly sure which one is going to come first, but goals. Nice. 2025 goals, Nashville and Knoxville. We really want to start pushing that way for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And where did you guys?
And Gatlinburg. I know it's still around here, Forge, but it's booming up there too. There's about 1,600 cannabis places in Gatlinburg.
What?
Maybe that's just a big number that I threw out there, but if you go down there, it's every corner. There will be a place that you can get cannabis. Yeah.
Gosh, that's crazy. Now, where did you guys get a lot of your ideas for, your lounges, the bars? Did you guys go out west or up in Nashville, or where did you guys kind of come up with some of these concepts?
I think a lot of the general concepts kind of come from our CEO Josh's head. That being said, it's something that we've toyed around with the entire time. It's been really interesting. The entire 6 years of Snapdragon, as well as years before, just traveling around the country for fun. It's been interesting to not see that. Nobody has that in a lot of these other states, or if they do, it's very recent.
Okay.
And we always just thought, why does no one have a cannabis lounge? Like, why doesn't anybody have the ability to just sit somewhere and get food or get a drink and imbibe cannabis? And as we were just talking about Tennessee earlier, we've been lucky, and they've really just let us do that kind of stuff. And we believe that we can do it in a safe way and give people the environment. We don't believe if there has been stipulations like that are the cause of those not being available, we can go the route that is better, and we can make sure that people have a good time.
Well, good. So, yeah, I think, when I went out west, I think the first dispenser I went into was in right outside of Breckenridge, Colorado. This goes back to 2017. And it was interesting. The dispensaries were very simple back then. You would walk in, they would have like 5 or 6 stations of the exact, they would just have the same amount of products, but just have like 5 or 6 stations with a little clerk there, giving consultations. But, the amount of products they offered back then was very limited. Yeah. And if you go out there now, it's crazy. Like, yeah,
they all look like Snapdragons.
They really do. They really do. It was, I don't know. I don't want to say tight and stuffy, because I went out there. I guess they've been legal for 2 or 3, 4 years when I went out there for the first time. But it's changed so much. You have so many more options. It seems like a lot more friendly when you walk in. It's just a lot different than it used to be. But we're seeing changes here too. So yeah, I think when it comes to, and I think we were talking about before, some of these new proposed law changes, I think as long as, you know, the legislators, keep the most important thing at the forefront, I think the right decisions will be made. I mean, I want to believe that. I just think that there's just, back to, we were just talking about Colorado. I just think there's so much revenue, and you want to do things for the right reasons. You don't want to chop off your nose to spite your face, but
Of course.
I just think there's so many aspects that are, so many things that are needed here in Tennessee and Chattanooga. And I think, cannabis is a great way to generate the extra tax dollars.
Well, here's the thing.
To make these things happen.
We talk about the benefits of cannabis itself every day. We talk about how it can help your mood. We talk about how it can help you regulate your day and really relax. And we talk about exactly what it can do on the physical well-being side. But we definitely should not be afraid of talking about what it can do for the establishment and the infrastructure of better processes, better roads, better education. There's just so much that other states have already proven that this revenue can go towards, and it's hard to ignore. It would be hard for me to ignore if I was in legislation.
And trust me, I'm all into, I got in this industry because, my wife's grandfather was diagnosed with cancer, and, he was an early baby boomer, and it was kind of like, oh, the devil's lettuce. And, I'm not going to take that. And then finally, I'll never forget it. He called her, and I mean, I'll pay. I mean, he said, I would rather die than live another day. And she was like, Granddad, you've got to take these gummies. Just try the full spectrum CBD gummies. And, it sounds silly, but he was up changing out light bulbs, outside doing yard work. I mean, stuff that he had not done for weeks and even months. So we had actually saw that with our own eyes, like, oh my gosh, like this is real. Like we need to take this to the next level. Hooked up with Josh, and the rest is history. But there's so many medicinal effects and how it can improve people's lives. And I don't want to get into specifics because you start encroaching on, you start crossing lines there. You gotta be very careful, especially in our industry. Mm-hmm. But from CBD with anti-anxiety and anti-inflammation, CBG with intestinal health, mood. I've been actually taking gummies for after I work out. CBD is a great recovery gummy. CBN at night, it's a great nerve suppressor. If you have any issues with it, it could be a neuroma on your foot or an impingement in your shoulder, or, a slip disc, herniated disc, bulging disc. It's not going to cure these issues.
Of course not.
It's going to really help alleviate. It's going to go after actually the root cause, which is that nerve suppression. And I mean, with my back pain, I mean, it's helped me so much, but that's why these are the reasons why we got into the industry. And yes, those medicinal effects are obviously super important, but I love talking about what it can do for the economy.
It's important.
I mean, you cannot overlook that.
No.
So,
and it has been for a long time.
It really has.
People are willing to look over, or in the past have been willing to look over all the positives for blanket statements without knowledge, complete lack of understanding of the subject. I think that's what it's really boiled down to.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are just, basing their decisions off nothing, instead of, sitting down, gathering all the necessary information and then basing your decisions on the facts. A lot of them were just, hey, it's just these old school ideological viewpoints. And I'm not going to knock that. Everyone comes from different conditions, different sets of circumstances. Everyone has different experiences, and that's how we come up with all of our entire thought process is based off what we've experienced, but there's so many things that, companies like ours and yours can provide, and the whole industry. I mean, there's so many good companies here in Chattanooga, that make different things within the cannabis industry. And I think it's, I think it's something that we can really, benefit the entire community with, not just medicinally, but economically as well. And I'm really glad you brought that up. So,
well, we need that. I mean, it's another thing that in my mind, not to get too lost in the weeds, but something that's easy to ignore is people in the cannabis field. They have a lot of thoughts about legislature, and they have a lot of thoughts when it comes to things like big pharma, big tobacco, big this and that are keeping our industry down. But at the same time, it's big cannabis too. We need exactly what you're talking about. We need to continue these connections with you guys, with places like Hemp House, places like Five Leaf Wellness, people that are out here actually trying to be a part of a community, hemp rolls, everybody that we work with, and they're making a quality product and they're out here to help. Big pharma, I've seen a lot of negatives on that as well. The government trying to take over the cannabis industry from our grasp as well. So I just I hope that we can stick together and continue to make the difference that we've been making.
I think like anything, I mean, obviously I don't want to get too political here on your podcast, but I think it's proven throughout history. Most of your good innovations are going to be coming from the private sector. I really can't think too much of what the government's invented. That's been really, earth shattering. Nothing against, the government's there to function to, run our nation and military and everything else. But, I think let the private sector drive the market. That's where your innovation comes from, period. So, I just, obviously we want standards, but we don't want,
of course,
we want some regulations, obviously, and some standards, but we don't want to be over-regulated. Right. So that can, that's a double-edged sword for sure.
No, it can. And, like you said earlier, I think it's in a good direction now. At this rate, in the direction we're going, what it's going to do is it's going to take the bad stuff off of the streets. It's going to take the stuff people don't know what they're eating, what they're drinking, what they're smoking off the streets, and make more room for stuff that is quality. That's my hope anyway.
Oh, and I agree 100%. I think, a lot of this stuff, it came from, a lot of these concerns and a lot of these, proposed law changes did come from a good place, right? There are some unregulated players out there. We know who they've been. Most of them are gone. But you want to make sure that you know exactly what's in your product. Hey, it could be. It's not just a hemp derived cannabinoid. It could be. You got to have all your recall. Like we have a whole recall schedule that we take.
It's critical.
We have to, because if there's a recall on a product, we got to be able to get that product back to us as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah.
And that's something, when the inspectors come in, we
put a crazy amount of stuff in ours.
It's ours.
Logs, date created, time touched, who moved it. Like it's
crazy. Like I've seen what you guys have, because whenever we go in there and get product from you guys, you type it in, you can see where it came from, where it moved to, all the COAs that are attached to it. And that's what we expect.
If you're going to make a psychoactive product, you have to have accountability.
You have to. Period.
Honestly, even the non-psychoactive stuff like the CBD, CBG, CBN, people are trying to use those for benefits. So it needs to be accurate.
Absolutely. You gotta know where that stuff came from.
Yeah.
And, whether it's a distillate or an isolate, these things, they're made in very controlled environments, obviously, but you want to know, hey, we have a COA for cannabinoid profile, for potency. We have one for heavy metals. We have one for microbials. We have one for pesticides, et cetera, et cetera. You want to make sure that, all these things have been taken into account and everything's been tested. And I think that's a big change that's coming up. I don't know when that's going to come as far as the full panel for concentrates. I'm not sure if you've got any visibility on that. I know it was proposed.
I think we're planning on.
I'm saying
keeping that on all of the concentrates, pretty much no matter what.
Yeah,
just getting a full panel on everything.
For sure.
That's what we've been doing for a lot of our stuff anyway. Just adding a couple more products was an easy little switch. So,
I was talking about more of the because I know there's some proposed legislation, not just for. I don't think it's for finished products, but there is a full panel in effect for concentrates, correct?
Yep,
that's what I thought.
Yep, there is, yeah.
But yeah, I think Chattanooga's a great community. I think the hemp industry here is relatively strong, and we have some good players in it. I think like anything, you did have some opportunists, come in at first, but they've always worked themselves out.
They do,
and I think, and some of them were legitimate business people. But, it's always nice to get in things for the right reasons. And obviously you want to generate revenue as a business owner. Obviously capital is king. But when you can make a difference, not to sound cliche or corny or hokey, but seriously, when you can make a difference to people, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, and when you get the feedback as well, like 420 Fest, this most recent 420 Fest that we just had, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. I couldn't believe we went from like 25 freaking people every couple of hours, essentially, to like thousands and thousands of people. We couldn't even stop. We were so booked.
That's awesome.
We couldn't even stop.
I saw you had Malele Roots down there.
Yeah,
playing.
We had a lot of good artists that we want to try to get at the roast in these other places too, or at least I really have been pushing for it. For sure.
Malele's a great band.
Yeah.
Christian, I used to see him down at UTC years and years ago, but they used to play down at Rhythm and Brews back when Ty Smile was Rhythm and Brews. It was actually part of Big River.
Nice.
And that was a great venue back in the late 90s. So, but
we're probably going to keep them on the docket if we do the same kind of event next year. We're extending ourselves from that Snapfest just a little bit. I don't know if you're interested, and I'm going to shamelessly plug this one in here. October 26th. This year, we've got some flyers. I can't remember exactly what time it is, but we're going to be doing a Snapfest Fright Night downtown.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing kind of like the same idea, hopefully, where we have some music, we have some booths, and a big event going on, but very Halloween themed costume contest.
There we go.
Hopefully, we can get the same level of hype going for it.
Oh, for sure. It'll be down at Miller Plaza, or
I have to look at the poster. I can't 100% speak on that, but that is something that is on our social media. And something that is on our website as well to check out in the events section.
Gotcha.
So, but I'll send you a link to that later.
Good deal. Good deal.
You can make it.
Yeah, I felt bad. We had a prior engagement. I wasn't able to make it down to 420 Fest, but I got it in the calendar this year or next year rather. So
yeah, dude, we're excited. We're excited. We're going to be able to do things a little bit differently, a little bit more planning involved in it, but that's going to be cool.
Maybe you can get Malele to play down there again.
We'd like to.
That'd be cool.
We'd like to.
Yeah, they're a great band. I know I keep talking about it, but I haven't seen them.
I
haven't seen them live in a long time.
I enjoyed it for sure.
It'd be good to get down there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's one thing I was going to ask you about the dab bar. How late is that open?
The ones in the stores are usually open until the store closes, which is around 8 o'clock.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was restrictions.
The lounge is later. The lounge stays open a bit later, sometimes till midnight.
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure if you guys had any restrictions regarding on how late you guys can stay open or what.
I don't really believe so.
Okay.
We've just seen when people, I don't know, sales trends during the day and expanding on keeping people even more hourly when some of the stores have changed. Like the high volume stores, they open at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning now.
Okay.
So just not trying to keep everybody over there all the time.
Come in the Snapdragon, get your sunrisers.
Well, it looks like we're pretty close to
we are
time here. So
well, good deal. Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate your partnership, and you and Josh, and you guys have been great guys to work with, and we look forward to a good future. And I'll make sure I got to come up with a good costume, but go ahead and count me in for Scarefest or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah.
420 Scarefest.
420 Scarefest. We went through a lot of names. Nightmare on High Street, Nightmare on Hemp Street. We went through a lot of different things. But
well, good deal. Well, Rob, thanks again.
Thanks for coming, man. It's been awesome.
Sounds good. See you, bud.
Signing out.